November 4th, 1995. Tel Aviv. 2 gunshots ring out in the night, and Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin falls. It was a tragedy that shook the world. But for a man named Michael Drosnin, it wasn't just a tragedy. It was a validation. A year before the bullets were fired, Drosnin had flown to Israel. He had tried to warn Rabin. He handed a letter to the Prime Minister's friend, pointing to a grid of Hebrew letters he had extracted from the Bible. He claimed the ancient text contained a hidden warning. The name Yitzhak Rabin crossed perfectly by the phrase, "assassin that will assassinate." At the time, he was dismissed as a crank. But when the assassination happened, exactly as the grid seemed to predict, the world suddenly stopped laughing. This is the moment the Bible code went from a fringe theory to a global obsession. We are talking about the idea that the Bible is not just a religious text, but a cryptogram, a massive encrypted database containing the secret history of the world, written thousands of years before the events actually happened. 9/11, the rise of Hitler, the Great Depression. Believers say it is all there, locked inside the Hebrew text, waiting for a computer to find it. But is this actually a message from the divine? Or is it the greatest statistical illusion in history? Today, we are going to bypass the theology and look at the mechanics. We are going to rip apart the algorithm, look at the raw data, and show you exactly how these codes are generated. By the end of this video, you won't just know about the code. You will know how to break it. To understand how this works, you have to stop looking at the Bible as a book of stories. You have to start looking at it as a data set. The theory, officially known as equidistant letter sequences, or ELS, relies on a very specific preparation of the text. You can't just open an English Bible to Genesis. It doesn't work like that. The code breakers go back to the original Hebrew Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. But they don't read it. They suffocate it. They strip away every single space between words. They delete every punctuation mark. They remove the breathing room until the entire text of the Torah becomes one massive, suffocating string of 304,805 characters. It looks like a chaotic ocean of letters. And the claim is that underneath this chaos, there is a rigid mathematical order. Here is the exact mechanism. It is called skip counting. Imagine a laser beam scanning that long string of letters. You tell the computer to stop at every 50th letter. You pick a starting point. You jump 50 characters, record the letter, jump another 50, record the letter. You do this over and over again. If you do this manually, it takes a lifetime. But in the 1980s, 3 Israeli mathematicians, Rips, Witstam, and Rosenberg, fed this process into a computer. They unleashed algorithms to scan the text at every possible interval. Every second letter, every 10th, every 4,000th. And they didn't just scan forwards, they scanned backwards. They turned the Torah into a crossword puzzle with millions of potential dimensions. And then, the computer started spitting out matches. The most famous proof of concept is right there in the opening of Genesis. If you start at the first T in the Hebrew text, skip 49 letters, you hit an O. Skip 49 more, you hit an R. Skip 49 more, you hit an H. It spells T-O-R-H, Torah. A skip interval of 50. Then they looked at the book of Exodus. Same thing. T-O-R-H. Skip of 50. It happens again in Numbers and Deuteronomy, but backwards. For the researchers, this was the hook. The number 50 is sacred in Jewish tradition. The Jubilee year, the days between Passover and Shavuot. It felt like a signature, a watermark left by the author. But looking for the word Torah in the Torah is one thing. Predicting the future is something else entirely. This is where the visual matrix comes in. When the software finds a match, say the name Hitler, it doesn't just list it, it reformats the text into a grid. The width of the grid is determined by the skip code. So if Hitler is found every 22 letters, the computer breaks the text into lines of 22 characters. Suddenly, the name Hitler appears vertically in a straight line. But here is the kicker. The researchers then look horizontally, diagonally, and nearby for related words. In the Hitler grid, they claim to find the words Nazi, enemy, and slaughter clustered right next to his name, in a grid for the Shoemaker-Levy comet that smashed into Jupiter in 1994. They found the name of the comet, the date of impact, and the exact spelling of Jupiter, all tangled together in a dense cluster of information. It looks undeniable. When you see it on the screen, your brain lights up. It looks like intelligence. It looks like design. It feels impossible that this could be random. And that feeling, that it can't be random sensation, is exactly what started a war in the scientific community. In 1994, the prestigious journal Statistical Science published a paper by the Israeli team. They claimed the odds of these names and dates appearing together by chance were 1 in 62,500. That is a p-value of 0.016. In the world of statistics, that is a mic drop. It seemed like science had finally proven religion. Even the NSA got involved. A senior cryptologist named Harold Gans tried to debunk it and ended up becoming a believer. The hype was stratospheric. But then the skeptics entered the room. And they didn't come with theology, they came with better math. The counterattack was led by Australian mathematician Brendan Mackay. He looked at the method and realized something crucial. The search space was too big, and the rules were too loose. Think about it. You have 300,000 letters. You can start anywhere. You can skip by any number. You can read forwards or backwards. And, this is the critical part, Hebrew is a language where vowels are often omitted. You can spell names in multiple ways. Yitzhak Rabin can be spelled with or without certain letters. The date of his death can be written as day-month-year, or month-day-year, or just the year. The critics argued that the code breakers were shooting an arrow at a barn wall, and then painting the target around where the arrow landed. It's called the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. To prove this, Brendan Mackay did something legendary. He accepted a challenge from Michael Drosnin. Drosnin had said, "If you can find a code about a prime minister's assassination in Moby Dick, I'll believe you." So, Mackay loaded the English text of Herman Melville's Moby Dick into the exact same ELS software. He stripped the spaces, he ran the algorithms, and guess what he found? He found a prediction for the assassination of Indira Gandhi. He found the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. He found the assassination of John F. Kennedy. He even found a grid predicting the death of Princess Diana, complete with the name of her lover, Dodi, and the phrase, "mortal in these jaws of the chariot." Did Herman Melville predict the death of the Princess of Wales? Of course not. Mackay proved that if your text is long enough and your rules are flexible enough, you can find anything. You can find a recipe for lasagna in the Declaration of Independence if you skip count hard enough. The scientific community turned. In 1999, the same journal that published the original paper published a rebuttal. They found that the original rabbi's experiment was flawed. The data had been tuned. The names chosen were the ones that worked. The ones that didn't work were left out. The 1 in 62,500 probability evaporated. The miracle wasn't in the book. It was in the bias of the researchers. The Bible code wasn't a message from God. It was a mirror reflecting our own desperate need to find patterns in the noise. We are hardwired to see faces in clouds and prophecies in random letters. It is a survival mechanism. But in this case, it misfired. So where does that leave us? The Bible codes remain a fascinating cultural artifact. They are a testament not to ancient prophecy, but to modern computing power and human psychology. The secret behind the code is that there is no secret, only the infinite, beautiful randomness of language, and the incredible ability of the human mind to create order where there is none. But you tell me, does the math satisfy you? Or do you still feel that tingle when you see the matrix line up?